Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we have something pretty special. We're taking one of the most complex and, let's be honest, beloved instrumental tracks in rock history Russia's La Villa Strangiato.
Which is already a deep dive in itself.
Exactly. But we're overlaying it with the celestial blueprint from the exact moment it was recorded. The premise here, and this is from deep in the source material, is pretty wild.
It's the idea that the entire character of this song, all its contradictions, is perfectly encapsulated by the astrological configuration of 1978.
Right. It sounds a bit out there, but the claim we're investigating is so specific. It argues that the cosmic alignment during that recording period, it basically laid out the track's entire musical and emotional DNA.
And just to be clear, this deep dive isn't about, validating astrology wholesale. It's about analyzing this very specific, uncanny claim. Was the 1978 sky actually perfectly La Villa Strangiato?
That's the mission. We're digging into sources that call this alignment uncanny. And we're looking at the planetary energies at play from June through August 1978. Right when that piece was being laid down, something electric was happening overhead.
So where do we start?
Okay, let's unpack this. We have to start with the real engine of the piece, the thing that gives it those sharp technical edges, that sense of controlled mania. Our sources point directly to Uranus in mid-Scorpio. They say it's the primary driver for this complex, angular, almost sudden quality of the song.
And that makes a lot of sense. Uranus in Scorpio is kind of the key to the track's chaos, but also its nervous intensity.
Yeah.
Uranus is all about sudden change, electricity, fragmentation, eccentricity.
Right.
And when you put that unpredictable energy into Scorpio, a sign known for intensity, for shadow, psychological depth, you don't get smooth sailing. You get this hypercharged, intense disruption.
And the analysis in the source material, it defines this period as peak Uranus and Scorpio energy. It manifests as angular, complex, technical, surreal, even dark humor.
An intensity bordering on mania.
Yes, exactly. And they argue this combination is precisely what defines the song's reputation. It's incredibly demanding technically, but it's also infused with this strange, dark comedy.
It is. And you can map those traits directly onto the music. I mean, think about the song's relentless use of odd meters, those sudden shifts that just throw you off balance.
That's the definition of a Uranian signature.
It is. That energy explains the fragmentation, the rapid shifts between completely different musical ideas, and those sharp electric edges that never let you really, truly relax.
I think we hear it most clearly in those mechanical sections, like when we hit that famous powerhouse homage part.
Oh, the madrigal.
Right, you feel that sudden acceleration, that manic precision. It's technical, absolutely, but it sounds like a machine just running way too fast on nervous energy.
That's a great way to put it, that angular, fragmented, slightly dark-humored chaos. That's the fingerprint of Uranus and Scorpio.
So the structure is complex, but the feeling underneath is pure intensity.
And the source material just distills it perfectly. It defines the result as hyper-precise eccentricity with emotional voltage.
I love that. Emotional voltage.
It means the technical skill isn't cold or calculated. It's driven by this kind of nervous high-wire energy.
But, if the whole song were just that,
Yeah,
this Uranus and Scorpio,
it would be unlistenable.
yeah, it would be pure fragmented noise, a sterile technical exercise. What's so fascinating here is that this technical chaos, it needed a counterbalance, a deep, fluid one.
It did. Otherwise, you, the listener, would have absolutely nothing to emotionally latch onto.
And that counterbalance brings us right to the emotional heart of the piece, the water signs that were dominating the summer of 1978.
This is where we get the dream landscape. The recording happened while the sun was in Cancer, and crucially, Jupiter, the great amplifier, was also in Cancer.
And that's a big deal, right? Jupiter in Cancer.
It's huge. It's what's called its exaltation. It means its power to expand and enlarge is at its absolute maximum. This is that expansive water energy that keeps the track from being just a technical showpiece.
So what does that amplified Cancerian energy actually bring to a prog rock instrumental?
Well, Cancer rules the intimate internal world. Home, memory, fantasy, dream imagery, that kind of fluid emotionality. It's all about the subjective, surreal inner landscape.
Which connects directly to the song's origin story.
Immediately and profoundly. The piece is subtitled An Exercise in Self-Indulgence, and the whole basis for it, the different musical scenes, were all reportedly based on Alex Lifeson's actual dreams.
These nightmares, anxieties.
Pure Cancerian material. It's the deepest, most personal, emotional wellspring you could tap into. And because Jupiter was there, Those themes got amplified, dramatized.
So it's like nostalgia on steroids.
Exactly. Jupiter exaggerates whatever it touches.
Mm.
So you get amplified storytelling, theatrical moods, subjective worlds built out of memory and fear. It took licensed private nightmares and just blew them up into this dramatic, cinematic, 8-minute epic.
Which kind of justifies that self-indulgent subtitle. It makes the personal feel universal.
It does. And you hear this fluidity right from the very beginning, that classical guitar intro.
It's so soft, it's unmetered, deeply reflective. It feels like this quiet prelude before the real story begins.
That free time opening is purely lunar and Cancerian. It's signaling a deep dive into an inner world.
So, okay, we have the cold, electrical, angular, manic structure from Uranus and Scorpio, and it's facing off against this warm, fluid, dreamlike emotional material from the Sun and Jupiter in Cancer. But those two forces, I mean, they seem totally opposed.
They do.
How do they merge into one coherent, singular, and frankly phenomenal piece of music?
This raises an important question, right?
Yeah.
How do you take the stuff of dreams and anxiety and express it through hyper-precise, technical prog rock without it sounding like a total mess?
Right, like a forced compromise.
And the answer, according to the sources, is in the sky. It was a unifying element called the trine aspect.
The trine. Okay, define that for us in this context, because we're talking about synthesizing two types of water, Scorpio and Cancer, that feel very, very different.
Well, astrologically, a trine means there's an easy flow, a harmonious unification between two signs of the same element. You can think of it like a perfect conduit pipe.
A pipe.
Yeah, you have the high-pressure, intense psychological water of Scorpio feeding directly and smoothly into the protective emotional water of Cancer. It creates a system that lets deep, even really difficult, emotional material be expressed flawlessly, without friction.
But wait a second. I get the architecture, but is it really a harmonious flow? The track feels like it's constantly fighting itself. It's full of tension. If the trine means easy unification, shouldn't the piece sound, I don't know, smoother, less manic?
That's a crucial distinction. The trine doesn't dictate the mood of the expression. It governs the ease of translation.
Ease of translation.
Right. It means the emotional intention found an easy channel into the structural form. The technical expression is complicated and difficult, that's the Uranian part. But the structure itself is seamlessly integrated with the emotion. The trine allowed that electric, complex, dark feeling to be turned directly into complex architectural form.
I see. So the unity is in the purpose, not necessarily the texture.
Exactly.
When I think about that perfect transition from the classical intro straight into that sudden metered blast of the Wizard's Challenge, I can see what you mean. The liquid and the architecture become one.
Precisely. You see that contrast and fusion built right into the song structure.
Yeah.
The movement from that fluid, lunar, Cancerian free time of memory right into the angular engine of the main body, which is hypermetered and Uranian.
The energy shift is drastic, but the song never loses its emotional thread.
Never. It's the essential journey from memory to machinery, from dream to architecture. And that core idea from the trine is take personal emotional material and express it through innovative, technical, futuristic form.
It provides the framework. It allows the indulgence to become disciplined art.
That's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's synthesize this whole thing. Let's talk about the song's unique tone, that mix of manic comedy and deep feeling.
Because it's full of both simultaneously.
Right. When you combine Jupiter's expansion, the nervous, eccentric energy of Uranus, the intense shadow of Scorpio, and that deep, fluid emotion of Cancer, you get something truly singular.
You do. Jupiter expands the dreams and fears into something theatrical. Uranus brings the sudden shifts, the odd meters, that eccentric energy.
And Scorpio adds the intensity, the shadow stuff, and that dark comedic edge that stops it from being too self-serious.
That manic comedic timing is so essential to the song's identity. The exaggerated dreamscapes, the surreal emotional sequences, the uncanny mood shifts. It all makes perfect sense through this lens.
It does. It feels like the music is driven by genuine, if high-strung, feeling, not just cold theory. It's like technical brilliance having a nervous breakdown.
And this combination gives it that unique texture. The sources give this final vivid summary of what this configuration created, and it really just crystallizes the whole thing.
Okay, let's hear it.
When you combine the lunar and underworld intensity of Cancer and Scorpio, the sudden shifts and odd meters of Uranus, and the coherent artistic expression of the Sun, You get one definitive artistic output.
And that output is a piece of music that does 5 things at once. It feels like a dream.
It behaves like a machine,
It jokes like a cartoon
flows like water.
and cuts like metal.
It's a perfect synthesis.
Mm.
The dreamlike quality, the flowing water, that's the Cancerian core. The jokes and the machine-like behavior, that's the eccentric, fragmenting Uranus.
And the cuts like metal has to be that deep, penetrating Scorpio intensity.
According to this blueprint, there is simply no better astrological signature for La Villa Strangiato. It's uncanny.
That is a phenomenal deep dive into the blueprint of a masterpiece. We started by asking if the 1978 celestial placement was just a coincidence, and we've found that specific placements mirrored the DNA of this piece. It wasn't just technical skill.
No, it was an emotional core architected by an electric structural form. And it forces us to step back and ask a much larger question, I think, about art and time itself.
This raises an important question.
How often do the great works of art we cherish, the ones that feel so inevitable, so perfectly executed, actually reflect the precise moment in time they were created, not just the artist's intentions?
That's a fascinating thought.
So we invite you to consider that specific blend, that high technicality, dark theatrics, and exaggerated emotion in La Villa Strangiato. Maybe explore other complex music written in the late 70s, when this Uranus-Jupiter configuration was active. See if you can find this same blend of intense, technically structured emotion somewhere else.
Thank you for sharing your sources with us and letting us take this deep dive into the intersection of cosmic structure and hyper-technical progressive rock. Until next time, keep exploring those hidden blueprints.